Good morning, everybody. Oh my gosh, court is actually starting a few minutes early. They got that infamous rotating fan that they desperately need to clean. So, anyway, I'm Adakay. I am your alternate juror. Good morning, everybody. This is the day 4 of the Karen Reed trial, and we are here to listen as the alternate juror and comment and kind of pick them apart. Right now, you still have the prosecution on board, and I've got to look at my notes. I've got a glitchy board. It just wanted to applaud for yesterday. We had an applauding day yesterday. So I took a lot of notes yesterday. And the last person we had on the witness stand was Katie McLaughlin, the firefighter. We had all firefighters on the stand yesterday. They pretty much, I'll be honest with you, kind of said the same thing over and over again as far as their education and background and all that jazz. Um, yeah, I will tell you it has been interesting. A lot of people have been giving scoring grades to the prosecutor. Um, and right now they're sitting between a D and an F. Um, y'all, they are not very enjoyable right now, for lack of a better term. Um, they have been very, um, I don't know how to put it. I feel like they've left a lot on the table in some of their questioning, which really surprises me. I feel their way of questioning is very dry and amateurish, and I don't know any other way to put it other than that. Now the defense, man, this is textbook. I think that if you're starting learning attorney, you guys need to watch this man. I'm sorry, I'm trying to devour my breakfast this morning. He is actually doing a fabulous job. I think he has scored some points where some people would have left them on the table. So that's a good thing. So we're just waiting for the court to start. I am uh, stiff this morning. I am trying to get everything situated. Pop out the chats. There we go. Close this window. There's a lot to do to set this up. But I am ready for y'all this morning. My takeaway yesterday. The biggest thing about yesterday was, what did Karen Reed actually say to the people that she was around, like the police and EMS? What did what did she actually say? I hit him. I hit him. Is he dead? Is he dead? They really were emphasizing on that. Now, first of all, as a first responder, I hear if someone is not breathing and they're having to give life-saving measures to family, friends, even bystanders who witnessed it will say, "Are they dead? Oh my god! Oh my god! Are they dead?" Okay, y'all. So that comment to me is a wash. I don't hold. I mean, you're grasping for straws for that one. I mean, she sat there and did her attempt at CPR. Not everybody knows how, but she did give him mouth to mouth, which is important. But the other takeaway from that was, I hit him. I hit him. You know, she dropped him off by her comments and drove off. Now, she could have dropped him off and he walked in front of her car and she didn't realize she knocked him over in the snow. It's a stretch. It's a stretch. But that's the comment. But the thing that got me was is that the um I do need to get my notes. I apologize, y'all. Uh, Mr. Flametti, um, did not document that he had heard her say, "I hit him." He said she said it over and over, "I hit him, I hit him. Oh my god, I hit him." But he didn't document it in anything. If I'm on scene and someone says, I hit him," I would say, "How did you hit him? Did y'all get in a fight? What happened?" And I would get clarification right then and there, but that wasn't done, nor did he put it in the, notes for his report. One, yesterday the day before yesterday, I really have to go back here. Timothy Methal said that the victim was wearing a downed jacket, that he was dressed for the weather. I haven't heard anybody else comment on this, and this is I listened to several other commentators yesterday, and he said that he was dressed for the weather, he had a down jacket on, and that they had to pull the jacket off in the EMS unit because they don't wanna cut those because those leave crap everywhere, and it does get in the way, and it can actually get into the wound, and so they wanna not do that. But all of the other EMTs stated he was not dressed for the weather, and in fact, all the EMTs have stated that he had blue jeans, a hoodie, zip-up type hoodie, and that he was definitely not dressed for the weather. None of them have brought up that downed jacket. So as a juror, I'm sitting here going, "Your Honor, can I ask a question?" So that's where I'm at on that. Then they got to, uh, m I think it was Matthew Kelly, and he was the driver of the EMS unit. And then they got to Walsh. Anyway, I think it was Walsh. I could have been Matthew Kelly. I'd have to scroll back and look. But I think it was Kelly. Yes, there it is, Mr. Kelly. It was either Walsh or, Vermelli. It was either Walsh or Vermelli. I'm trying to find the note. Okay, it was Vermelli. Vermelli kept stating in his testimony that he stayed in the back of the unit. After we placed the victim, O'Keefe, onto the, um, they call it a scoop. It's actually a stretcher. I mean, a backboard, and then put them in our terms, it's a backboard. Their terms, it's a scoop, and put them on the stretcher. They immediately got him in the EMS unit, closed the doors, and to keep him warm. And he stated that he stayed in the back of that unit. On cross examination, he let it slip that he left the unit and he thought he had grabbed some of the equipment that was laying on the ground outside the unit and was not constantly in the unit the whole time. So there's some conflicts in his testimony, and that is a big one. Hi, Andrielli. Yes, you are, my love. You win the prize. First in chat is the head monitor. Good morning, Eddie. Good morning. Good morning. I am drinking my lovely protein drink. But there was a lot of inconsistencies in some of the statements yesterday. A lot of people, they also focused on the shoe. And most of them said they didn't realize the shoe was missing until he was on the gurney and being loaded. That's not uncommon. But once again, to me, the shoe is not a big of a deal, whether he was hit by a car. I've seen people come out of both shoes. I've seen people come out of one shoe, but it's not uncommon for you to come out of a shoe when you get hit by a car. Or you were got in a fight and the shoe was in the house and they brought it and just threw it in the yard. A lot of the injuries that they focused on was the cut above the eye. I want to talk about bleeding. And someone had commented, "My gosh, how did he get so much blood in his stomach or in his trachea and his esophagus? Why were they suctioning that much out?" How many of you guys have had bloody noses? They bleed like a mobo. And so what happens is with the bloody nose and you're laying backwards, all that goes back into your down the esophagus and into your stomach or lungs. If you're not breathing and or if you're aspirating, you're breathing it into your lungs. And the thing about all that is not uncommon. Especially if you're out in the cold laying on your back, the inside of your body is warmer than the out, so it's gonna continue to bleed more than the external part will, because the cold will make it freeze or coagulate super quick. So that to me was not an issue. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah. But you know what I'm talking about. That's why they, you know, some people lean forward, some people lean back. I mean, to me, that was not a huge deal. Now, if it was more of an abdominal wound, internal bleeding, it would have been a whole lot more, number 1. I want to talk about the distended stomach. The moment somebody starts to die, the gases start building up in the stomach, and the stomach will distend. Okay, that's not me, that's the court. We are in
Government. And
we're in session. They're getting the Zoom ready.
enter your participant ID. Please enter the meeting passcode followed by pound. You have joined the meeting as an attendee and will be muted throughout the meeting. The host, you are unmuted.
I'm so excited I figured out how to do the banner so it doesn't block us. And the timestamps.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Bring the jury. Sorry, can't resist. Wake up, everybody. I'm turning down this god awful.
117, the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. Can I have counsel identify themselves for the record?
Adam Lally for the Commonwealth. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Lally.
Good morning, Your Honor. Laura McLaughlin for the Commonwealth.
Good morning, Ms. McLaughlin.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alan Jackson from Ms. Reed.
Good morning, Mr. Jackson.
Your Honor, Elizabeth Little, also on behalf of Ms. Reed.
Good morning, Ms. Little.
Good morning, Judge David Yannetti for Karen Reed.
Good morning, Mr. Yannetti. Good morning, Ms. Reed. Good morning, jurors. I have to ask you those same 3 questions. Were you able
I
to follow the
do.
instructions and refrain from discussing?
Not in this
case
chat, but
with
in
anyone
the
since
in
we left
the
here yesterday?
Yahoo
Everyone said
YouTube.
yes or nodded affirmatively. Were you also able to follow the instructions and refrain from doing any independent research or investigation into this case?
Yes.
Everyone said yes or nodded affirmatively. Did anyone happen to see, hear, or read anything about this case since we left yesterday? Everyone said no or shook their hands. So while you bring your witness in, Mr. Lally, I'd like to see counsel at sidebar for a brief minute. But
Already a sidebar. Oh my gosh, y'all. All right, let's try this song. Whoa, that was a little hot for me. Oh, Daddy's back in court. Where's Mama? Mother may be taking a break or she's sitting there next to him. I can't tell. Poor man. Nope. I got the pins because I'm doing it. So now when I go back and do the, what is it called? At the end of the day, I go back and I put the timeline on the thing. I use that time now. Nope. Yeah, there's Mama. Karen Reed supporters. Yeah, they were told I can't keep drinking this. Ugh. My coffee. Y'all, I came skirting in here this morning. I had a very difficult day yesterday. Ended up taking some melatonin to help me sleep. I didn't want to get up this morning. It was a hard wake up this morning. Very hard wake up. But I did it, and I'm here for you guys, and I'm so happy. I'll be right back, y'all. Recorder.
Could you raise your right hand one more time? Do you solemnly swear the evidence you give to the court and jury in the case down here is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Thank you, Your Honor. Morning. Now, I have a few more questions for you. So, I turn your attention to the period of time you testified about yesterday when you're at, Mr. O'Keefe is in the back of the ambulance. With respect to his clothing, what, if any, observations did you make in regard to that clothing?
He had, in terms of what he was wearing,
First, in terms of what he was wearing.
he was wearing jeans. He had on a dark colored light zip up jacket. And I noticed one sneaker.
Now, with regard to that clothing, what, if any, observations did you make in regard to the condition of that clothing?
It was soaked through.
As far as tears or holes or anything else with regard to that clothing, what, if any, observations did you make of that?
I didn't see any.
Ms. Gilman, if I could have exhibit number 18. May I approach the witness, John?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, first, Firefighter McLaughlin, do you recognize what's up on the screen as exhibit 18?
Do I
Do
recognize
you recognize what it is?
what it is?
Yes.
Yes.
And what do you recognize it to be?
The address of the call, 34 Fairview Road.
Now, with respect to this photograph, do you observe within it or where Mr. O'Keefe was on the ground when you first arrived?
From this angle, no, I don't.
And if you could, if it's not on the photograph, is it off to the left, the right, or where would it be in relation to this photograph?
To the left,
Sorry about that.
I would say.
And about how far off frame do you believe it was?
I'm not sure. So my view of the call was, my reference point wasn't a house on either side. The patient was off the road. So my view of this call was the patient was on the side of the road. The only thing that I noted was a fire hydrant. So in relation to, I know it was to the left of a house, but I'm not sure exactly how far left it would be from this picture, from this angle.
So your memory is to the left of the house near a fire hydrant, is that correct?
Yes.
Take that down. I have no further questions.
All right. Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. McLaughlin.
Morning.
You responded to the call of an unresponsive male in the snow at 34 Fairview. That was the address you were calling, correct?
Correct.
The house you just looked at, that is in fact 34 Fairview, right?
Correct.
As Mr. O'Keefe was being transported by ambulance, you were instructed by firefighter Flamati to get information about the victim from Karen Reed, correct?
He wasn't being transported by the ambulance at that time. He was on the stretcher. And Tony, who was at the head of the stretcher, asked me to get information from Miss Reed about the patient, but he wasn't being transported in the ambulance at that time.
Who's Tony?
Firefighter Flamati.
Got it. When you did, in fact, did you follow those directives?
I did.
When you finally approached Miss Reed in order to get that medical history as best you could, what did the scene look like? Who was with you or around you?
So they started to move the stretcher towards the ambulance. Miss Reed was sort of, I guess I would describe it as moving around the scene. So she was moving, kind of going in circles. So I was really just focused on her, trying to get her to converse with me and get those questions. So that I wasn't really noticing anything else at that point. I was more just trying to contact her, and she was moving around.
What were you wearing at the time?
I had my like winter fire jacket on.
What color is it?
It's yellow and red.
Bright yellow for safety purposes.
Yes.
When you began your actual questioning, once everybody sort of stood still, and you began your questioning of Miss Reed, you were standing in one spot. Miss Reed was standing to your right. Is that right?
Well, the questioning started, as I said, she was moving around the scene. So the questioning was ongoing as she was moving around to different locations. I don't know exactly how many of the questions I got out during the time that she was moving around. At one point, we did come to a stop. And at that point, she was to my right.
That's the point I want to focus your attention on, if I could. When you came to a stop, that's the point at which you recall the statement being made that you attribute to my client.
Yes.
Okay. And in that group, who was there? I want to make sure I understand this exactly.
So there was Miss Reed to my right. There was a civilian woman to my left. There was a police officer who was not directly across from me, but I would say maybe diagonal to me, closer to Miss Reed.
Your Honor, I'm holding a photograph. This is shown to the Commonwealth. May I approach?
Yes.
I'm going to show you, Ms. McLaughlin, a still photograph. I'm going to ask you to take a quick look at that photograph and look up after you've studied it for a second and tell me if you recognize people that are in that photograph.
I recognize people in it.
May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes. Is this an exhibit or are you moving to introduce it?
I'm moving to introduce it. It has not been introduced as yet.
Okay. So go ahead and have the witness adopt it first.
Sure. Do you see the person closest to frame? Closest to the camera?
Yes.
In what appears to be a yellow and red jacket.
Yes.
Who's that?
That would be me.
Who's to your right?
It appears to be Miss Reed,
And to your left?
a civilian woman,
And across, as you said, sort of diagonal, closer to Miss Reed is,
a police officer.
do you know that officer's name, by the way?
I don't know his name.
Okay. Your Honor, with that, I would ask that this be marked as next in order.
Okay. Is there any objection?
No objection.
So we are going to remark these exhibits today because of the problems that I indicated at sidebar. How do you want to do this, Madam Reporter? I don't know where we start from. Tori, how many are in evidence? Folks, it's my responsibility to make sure the record is intact. And you've heard numbers 1, 3, 309, 247. We need to straighten this out to make sure it's appropriate for you. You know what, Madam Clerk, Madam Court Reporter, just mark it as the next exhibit number, whatever in the hundreds that is, and we'll take care of this today. I don't want to waste your time, folks, while we do this, but it's very important that we do it. All right. All right, so there was any objection to that from the Commonwealth?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin, this is the time or the scene that you've told us about when.
How's the
you heard
volume for
statement
you?
that
It sounds
attributed to my
weak
client, correct?
for me from their end.
Sorry, say that again?
Sure.
And
This
I'm
is a
gained
moment in
up
time,
as
it
much as I
captures a
can.
moment in time when you're standing there. To your right is Karen Reed, which you've described. To your left is a civilian female, which you've described. And across from you is an officer, which you've also described.
Yes.
So this would be the time or close in time to the time that you heard the statement that you attribute to Ms. Reed, correct?
Yes.
The first time you ever made that official report, or an official report to law enforcement regarding that statement was January 30th, 2022, correct?
Well, yes and no. The statement was made in front of the police officer, so that would technically be the first time that statement was made to a police officer in my presence. And then, yes, I testified to it on January 30th, as you said.
You said it on January 30th. You weren't testifying under oath, correct?
Okay. Said it. Said it.
Okay.
Yes.
My question was really, and I appreciate you clarifying, my question was really the first time you actually told this statement to any law enforcement officer was on January 30th.
Yes.
Okay, we can take that down. That was when you met with Trooper Michael Proctor, correct?
Yes.
Obviously, that was very close in time to the event. It was the next day. Is that right?
Yes.
The events were close.
The 29th. Yeah. So it would be the next day.
Right, 29th, 30th.
Yep.
Okay. The events were fresh in your mind at that time?
Yes.
You obviously knew about the importance of that interview. You knew that it dealt with a police officer who had passed?
I knew it was important to talk to the police about what I heard.
And you wanted to be accurate?
Is this the
Yes.
oh blank,
As
oh blank,
detailed as you
he's
possibly
dead,
could.
or is this the I
Yes.
get him
You
comment?
understand that memories, obviously, they get a little worse with time, not better with time, right?
Sure.
The closer in time you are to the event, the fresher your memory is going to be about the details of that event. You would agree with that, right?
Sure.
You told Trooper Proctor the day after the event on January 30th that the statement that you attribute to my client was actually made to the female, not to you in response to your questioning. That's what you told Trooper Proctor, correct?
I don't have those notes in front of me, so I don't know that I can tell you that that's correct, but the statement was made in response to my question. However, the Miss Reed was looking at the civilian woman as she said that.
Does it refresh your recollection that what
Don't read what you think refreshes recollection. You can show or you
Yeah,
cannot
right.
read it. Yes.
take a look at the highlighted portions of that report and look up when you're finished.
Okay.
May I?
Sure.
Your Honor, may I
Yes.
approach? Does that refresh your recollection about what you told Trooper Proctor on January 30th?
Yes.
And you told Trooper Proctor,
No,
quote,
let her,
in turn
sh-
to
if she, if,
and
hold
stated-
on. I'll see it said.
Wow. What? Mhm. Okay, so he's trying to nail down exactly to who and when was this comment said.
Yes.
In fact, what you told Trooper Proctor was, quote, Karen then turned to her friend and stated, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him,
I hit him, okay.
end quote. Correct?
Okay.
Is that yes?
Yes, if you're saying that's in quotation marks in the in that, then yes.
That's what's in the report.
Okay.
And I'm not, you don't have to agree with me. I'm asking yes or no questions, not okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So in fact, what you told Trooper Proctor was that Karen Reed looked at the female to your left and said 4 times, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, correct?
Yes.
And have you since learned that the name or identity of the female that was standing to your left?
No.
You're aware that the female that was standing to your left reported the exact same statement?
No.
Are you aware that the female standing to your left reported that exact same statement as, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Did I hit him?
No, I'm not aware of that.
You then went back to the ambulance after you heard that statement that you believed you heard my client state.
Yes.
You opened the ambulance door, correct?
Yes.
That was the back door,
The side door.
the side door. And there were two firefighter paramedics in that ambulance at the time, correct?
I believe there were more than 2 at that time.
2 of them included firefighter Nuttall and firefighter Flamani.
Yes.
And at that point, you told them what you believed you had just heard.
So I went into the back of the ambulance. I said, this is his name. This is his date of birth. She says he doesn't have any medical history or allergies, doesn't take daily medications. And then I said, she's saying I hit him. And firefighter Nuttall motioned to his face and said something.
Objection, Your Honor.
Ask another question.
So the answer to my question is, yes, you told in front of Flamati and Nuttall the phrase, I hit him.
Yes.
Did you write that in any report?
I don't write a report in this scenario of my job.
Let her finish the answer, please.
So there are 2 people that will write reports in my department on a call, one being the lead paramedic and the other being the officer who's on scene. So those are the people that write reports, and I was neither of those, so I did not write that in a report.
Okay.
That's correct.
So let me ask the question again. You didn't write it in any report?
No.
You didn't write it in any notes?
No.
You didn't document that
Good
statement in any
point,
way whatsoever, correct?
Andrea.
Other than my interview with Proctor and my subsequent testimony.
You didn't document that statement in any way yourself, did you?
No.
Since January 30th, in that conversation that we just talked about with Trooper Proctor, your statement has evolved. Is that right?
I don't know how to answer that.
You testified yesterday to something quite different
Not quite different.
than what you testified, I'm sorry, than what you stated to Trooper Proctor.
Respectfully, I think my testimony has been pretty consistent.
You testified to something yesterday quite different in context than what you told Trooper Proctor. Isn't that right?
I don't know that that's right.
Well, you told Trooper Proctor, Karen Reed looked at a female standing to your left, said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Right?
Yes.
Yesterday, you told these jurors that Karen Reed said, I hit him, and an officer said, you what? And she repeated, I hit him, and the officer immediately turned and went to find another sergeant. Is that right or no? Yes or no?
No, there was more to that testimony.
That's not what you said yesterday?
I think I said more than that, than what you just repeated.
Is what I said
He's not answering.
consistent with what you said yesterday? There's a lot of things that you said. More.
Is that a
I'm
part of
asking,
what
is
you
that the
said?
sum and substance of what you told these jurors yesterday?
Yes.
So you would agree that from that time till yesterday, your story has evolved. It's changed.
About ready to get a judge's.
Would I agree with that? I don't know that I agree with that.
You think the story that you told Trooper Proctor is exactly the same
I
story?
understand what you're saying. So I understand what you're saying.
So has your story evolved?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Cha-ching. Not good for prosecution.
Ms. McLaughlin, who's Caitlin Albert?
I went to high school with somebody named Caitlin Albert.
With somebody named Caitlin Albert.
I went to high school with somebody named Caitlin Albert.
So do you know Caitlin Albert?
I do.
You're friends with Caitlin Albert?
I would say more acquaintances, not close friends.
How do you describe an acquaintance?
I would say that we have mutual friends, so we might see each other
Caitlin
occasionally
Albert.
because of mutual friends, but we don't.
Let me
have
fill
a
you in.
one-on-one.
Let me fill you in. Brian Albert, who owns the house, his son, Brian Albert Jr., is, I think, dating or is the daughter of. It is, I think it's his daughter, Caitlin Albert. Yeah. So Brian Albert is the father to Caitlin Albert. Caitlin Albert is the AG's, works in the AG's office. So, and she was in the house that night. That helps y'all.
Friendship or hang out
I feel a little hot. Turn it down.
regularly.
Who's her dad?
I don't know.
Oh, bull crap.
Do you know who her family is?
Objection.
Sustained.
May we approach her?
Yes.
Oh, she's being very evasive, y'all. Very evasive. Oh, wow. That is not good. She knows exactly who the father is. She knows that Caitlin's dad owns the house where the victim was found. I bet they are more than just classmates. It's not that big of a town. Yeah. No. Oh, they're still at sidebar. My bad. Mm-mm. Y'all. I find it interesting. I love how this cross-examine is he didn't get the answer he wanted. So he started asking in different ways and was able to get her to confess. Her statement has evolved. That was a win. That was a huge win for them. Kudos to you for that. I'm trying to read my notes on her. She testified yesterday for a short while, trying to keep everything. She's the one that says, I heard him say, I hit him. I hit him. Oh my God, I hit him. And then she also says he also did not have a heavy jacket on. He was, clothing was just a jeans, a hoodie, a zip up type hoodie, one sneaker. So yeah. Uh-oh. They're sending the jury out. Ruh-roh. This is not going to be pretty. I'm going to come back to the court and see what they have to say. It's too early for morning break. Too early for morning break. So this gentleman you see here, I don't know if you can see, no, you can't. Between the two, the young man, the man in the white button down and the woman in the white.
Ms. McLaughlin, I'm going to let you step out for a few minutes, show them what you have, and let a court officer know when you're ready for me to come back out.
All rise for the court, please.
Ooh, what is going on? She's stepping out. What? What? What is happening? This is new. I don't think I've seen this. So there is some evidence that they have to show the other side. Wow. Y'all, it's too early. My brain's not thinking this fast. I'm kind of dumbfounded. Let me see. Let me do this. I'm going to look and see who else is live this morning. Oh, Miss Dolly Parton's live this morning. Oh, they're behind. Okay, she's behind. Not uncommon. Court hopping. Nobody else is streaming. Okay, well, I guess we'll just have to wait. Dolly Parton released a new song called Dagger Through the Heart. Woohoo, go Dolly. No, but I think what's happening here is they're getting ready to impeach the snot out of her. I think that's what's going to happen. And because part of the defense's strategy is that they believe that all these people are connected and they're covering up for each other. Sorry about that, y'all. I moved my thing. I hate to let it go long enough. I don't know if I can let this go long enough for them to send me a new one. My Rodecaster Pro 2 is really glitching. So they're getting ready. I suspect they're getting ready to impeach her if they can come to terms on the evidence that he's wanting to present. But I find it interesting. And of course, this happens in every trial. You know, you got your prosecution is going to put their witness on, and their witness is going to answer everything beautifully and smoothly and very organized because it's rehearsed. Then your defense comes on and they're getting hit with questions they're not prepared for. And that's when the ums and the stutters and the body language, the demeanor, the lack of confidence starts to show. And if you're not 100% truthful and have your facts exactly straight, that's when the holes start getting poked. And this defense lawyer, he's good. Oh my gosh, he is so freaking good. Another commentator made a comment, and I don't know if it was Runkle of the Bailey or Emily D. Baker, but if y'all have ever watched either one, fabulous. If not, go watch them at some point. But the comment came up was, it's almost like this prosecutor does not want to be there. He's just not, he doesn't seem like he's eager and thirsty. I mean, even in his opening comments, I would have expected him to say, you killed him. You know you killed him. She backed up into him. She hit him with the car. They had a fight that morning. They had a fight that afternoon. And he was, God knows, maybe going to leave her. I don't know. But she hit him with the car. She's a murderer. I mean, that aggressive, you know. And he came out like dried paint. And he gave the evidence in a manner that was what I would call your worst history class professor. Dry, somewhat disheveled, not very glued together and cohesive. It almost seems to me that he didn't work on his opening statement until the night before. And then you have the defense comes out and very engaging with the jury, very much organized, and hitting the points he needed to hit. He laid out exactly their case. When we were sitting here the other day, I think it was day 1 and 2, when they were start talking about how the address was 34, the house number, and in one place it was marked 32, one 33, another one marked 35. It was not documented appropriately in a lot of the different places that it had to be documented. And it's almost to me like it's one of multiple things. One, they didn't want a police officer's address on the report, or they're trying to cover something up. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because I have never known that many different addresses attached to one case. Sometimes people in a panic may think, like if I'm calling for my neighbor across the street and my address may be 1005 and their address actually may be 1003, but they're directly across the street, and I give them 10 maybe 6, or not 1005 because I'm odd, even number. I may say 1004, but their address may actually be 1006 because I'm 1005. I may go the wrong way, but that's me, not the dispatch making the wrong address, not in police reports being the wrong address. So that to me is very, very unusual. Now, had the defense not laid out their case the way they did in opening concerning a conspiracy and a framing and all of that, then that wouldn't have mattered so much. But because the defense laid their case out the way they did, when I started hearing that, it got my attention as a juror. Otherwise, if they hadn't talked about some of the things they did and laid it out as a frame up, I would not have paid much attention to it. There is a lot of discrepancies going on here. The clothing he was wearing, even to some of the timing of which people showed up. Once again, for those of you who didn't watch, excuse me for a second. My allergies are acting up. The timestamps for EMS has 3 different officers showing up 7 seconds apart. Let me pull that so I can get you exactly the timing. I don't want to be wrong. I have already got literally books of notes. Literally. I need to get these in order anyway. I literally have 15 pages of notes already, and we're only on day 4. So, they stated, I even wrote notes for the opening statement. All right, the witness states, where is it? Cross-examine. That he showed up at, let me find it, y'all. I'm sorry. Maybe it was in the penciled section. State opening, defense. Here it is. I think. Oh. It was like 6:06 in the morning is when the first person arrived. The second officer was showed to be there at 6. It was like 6:06:20 something. The other one arrived at 6:06:15. The other one arrived 6:06 whatever. So you literally had only 7 seconds between the times that here it is. I found it. It was on day 2. So the dispatch log shows that Officer Seraph showed up at 6:08:29. Then it has Officer Mulaney showing up at 6:09:26. Then it has Officer Good showing up at 6:09:33. We're 7 seconds apart. But in reality, Sheriff showed up by dash cam at 6:10. I'm sorry. Mulaney showed up at 6:11, and at 6:16, Mr. Officer Good showed up. So the dispatch logs are wrong. The address log has it marked as 32 Fairview, not 34. Another officer wrote in his report 32, and another officer wrote in his report 35. That is huge. Those logs are incorrect. I mean, if you did not have the dash cam there, then everything would hinge on the logs of the dispatch. And that is a huge no-no. Dispatch logs cannot be that incorrect. That is like massively bad. And so for me, I don't know what they're doing. This is unusual. So that was the first thing as an alternate juror that got my ears perked. It's like, the other thing that got me was when Officer Seraph shows up on scene, he sees Karen Reed, didn't know her name, but saw her because she had blood on her face, giving mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Why did he not then immediately, and I know I'm getting really exaggerated here with my mouth, but immediately, why did he not start the chest compressions? Why did they just stand around and wait? Once CPR, whether chest compressions or mouth-to-mouth or both, either or both are started, you do not stop until EMS gets there, and then they take over until they get them to the hospital. That was strange to me. Even if Karen Reed stopped, Seraph, and then a minute later, another one shows up, they should have been doing CPR until EMS got there, and they were not. Here they come. I can hear them coming.
All right. So, Mr. Jackson, let's mark for identification the items that you
Come on, Court
told us
TV.
about at sidebar.
Get it going.
First in order would be do you want me to describe them for the record, Your Honor?
No.
Uh,
So they're not to be put up on the screen.
These are 4 items. One of them.
So don't describe them. I need to.
I guess Court TV is not going to put it up yet. So that was one of my other issues. A third issue for that little section of time is they allowed Jennifer, Jen McCabe,
Thank you.
the police did not pay attention, or they just ignored her, leave the scene, no, and go into the house. And apparently she came back with blankets. What I want to know is number one, why did you even allow her to leave? Do you not believe that she didn't tell somebody in the house at 6 a.m.?
Okay, so we have
problem?
4
And
marked,
then
4
you
pieces of
have
paper marked for identification.
the
That
fact
appear you got these off of social media sites, Mr. Jackson?
That's correct.
Okay.
Oh,
When
got it
did you
off
get
social
these?
media. I'll write that down.
I couldn't tell you the exact date, but we probably have them for between 6 months and a year.
All right. And Commonwealth, you've not seen these before?
No, Your Honor.
Ooh, new evidence.
So we'll talk about Rule 14 in a little bit, but we'll bring the witness in. You can ask her questions, Mr. Jackson, about the vacation that you.
I'm going to pause for a quick second to finish this thought. So the issue for me is that if there is a body unresponsive found on your property, I guarantee you there's going to be somebody knocking at your door while they're trying to save this person's life saying, hello, anybody home? We have a problem out here. You need to come out. Been there, done that.
Mentioned the drinking that you talked about, the relationship with Ms. Albert. I've forgotten the first name already. And Caitlin, and about the house. So you can ask her questions about that. And let's see, you can show her these exhibits or these marked for identification if you need to. You may have trouble actually getting those into evidence, but I'm going to let you find out. You can ask her to identify them, how long ago they were, things like that.
Thank you.
All right, could we bring in Ms. McLaughlin, please? Yes.
Snap! This is getting good.
And
y'all.
Commonwealth, you just saw these today. I'm sorry, I don't remember if I asked you that.
Yes, and yes.
And you were objecting that you objected at sidebar that these come in at all?
Correct.
Okay. Oh, here's the fourth one. I'm sorry. Mr. Jackson, here's the last one.
Oh, let's make sure.
So, Ms. McLaughlin, Mr. Jackson's going to be allowed to ask you questions outside the presence of the
Why
jury.
do we not have
And you're
camera?
still under oath, and you have to answer them truthfully, okay?
Okay.
Go on.
Why do we not have camera?
Water or to use the restroom.
Okay, but nothing about the substance of your testimony.
No.
Ms. McLaughlin, I asked you before we broke.
I'm going to come back just a hair.
Ms. McLaughlin, when just briefly as a predicate, when you stepped out, I just want to make sure we're very clear. Did you have a conversation with anybody from the Commonwealth between the time you walked out of court and just now?
Just about if I needed a drink of water or to use the restroom.
Okay, but nothing about the substance of your testimony.
No.
Ms. McLaughlin, I asked you before we broke if you know who Caitlin Albert is.
Yes.
You said that you went to high school with somebody by that name, correct?
Yes.
You in fact know that person as a friend, correct?
I know her.
She's more than an acquaintance.
I would say she's an acquaintance. She's not a close friend.
Is she in a group of friends of yours?
We have mutual friends.
How long have you known her?
Probably since high school.
When you say, and I don't want to ask your age, I wouldn't do that. How many years, how long of a span of years have you known her?
Give me the camera, guys.
Since high
Where's the
school, so
cameraman?
maybe 10.
And you know her family, generally?
I don't.
You know anything about her family?
I don't know her family.
Had you ever been to her house?
Not that I recall ever being there.
Not that you recall, or you haven't? There's two different things.
I don't recall ever being there.
Okay, so you might have been there, you just don't recall.
I don't recall ever being there.
Okay. If I were to ask you if you have ever been to her house, yes or no, you cannot answer that because you don't know. You cannot recall, correct?
Oh, thank you. Jesus. Oh, thank hard.
I would say, I would lean towards no. I have no recollection of ever being at her house.
Are you friends with her on social media?
Yes.
May I approach you on her?
Yes.
I'm just going to leave all four of these up here. I know what they look like. Can you do me a favor and take a look at the first document? What does
Ooh,
that
this is
document
getting
do?
good. Juicy.
It says Caitlin's friends.
What does it look like? That's a printout of.
I'm sorry.
What does that look like? It's a,
Oh, exactly. Some social media.
okay. Under Caitlin's friends, do you see your handle, for lack of a better phrase?
I do.
Okay. Is that you?
Yes.
Okay. Can you look at the next photograph?
Social media will get your butt every time, y'all. Don't lie on oath.
before we talk about that next photograph, which is, I should
She
go
knows it.
over for the record, Your Honor. The first one was H.
Ooh, this is getting good.
Before we talk about I, which is the next photograph, how long have you been social media friends, quote, friends with Caitlin Albert?
I don't know.
More than 5 years?
Probably.
More than 8 years?
I don't know.
The second photograph, or the second document, appears to be a photograph. It's I, is that right?
Yes,
Do you see yourself in that photograph?
I do.
You see Caitlin in that photograph?
I do.
When was that photograph taken?
I have no idea.
Where was that photograph taken?
I don't know.
You have no idea how long ago that was?
I don't.
What was the event that was depicted, or that is depicted in that photograph?
I don't know.
Full
Was
crap.
that local, or was that on a trip somewhere?
I don't know. Probably local. If it's a beach, I don't remember. I've never been away like to a beach on vacation with all of these people, so probably local.
When we say local, let's talk about local. I don't mean, we may have different definitions. Where would that be? What beach? I'm not as familiar with the location.
I'm not sure.
Maybe on the Cape?
Possibly.
Okay. Do you recognize some of the other folks in that photograph?
Y'all.
Matter of fact, there's a lot of people in that photograph, right?
There's a lot of people in it.
Did you take a trip with all those people at some point in the past?
Take a trip.
To the beach?
Did I go to the beach at some point with these people? Yes.
Okay.
Oh
When
my
did you go
God.
to the beach with all those folks?
I don't know. I don't know when this picture is from.
Have you
It
gone?
seems old to me, but
Have you? Well, you can see yourself. I mean,
yeah.
What
Oh
was
my
that?
God.
Did you say it seems old to you?
Yeah, to me.
Okay.
This isn't like a recent to me.
how old do you think that photograph is?
I don't know. It could be around high school. I'm not sure.
And I know Mr. Jackson didn't want to ask you how old you are. When did you get out of high school?
2014. I
Okay.
graduated.
10 years ago.
So could that have been around 2014?
It could be.
So you've known Caitlin for at least that long.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap
And
is
when I
good.
say travel, I mean travel outside of Canton, gone places with her, correct?
Yes.
You've posed for photographs with her,
Yes.
with other folks.
Yes.
Looks like socializing and partying, correct?
Looks like socializing.
Maybe a small vacation.
I've never been on vacation with a big group of people like this.
Well, that doesn't look like what would you call that if that's not like a mini vacation?
A day at the beach?
A day at the beach. Okay, so maybe a day vacation.
Sure.
Okay, let's look at the next photograph.
Oh,
Jay.
snap it. Oh, I can see
Mayor
the
Pro
photo.
Tem,
I'm not
Yes.
supposed to see the photo.
I do need to remind myself. That photograph looks a little older, correct?
They both look old to me. I don't know when they're from.
You do
I'm
too.
going to ask you the same questions about that. These aren't
Oh,
trick
come
questions. I don't want to waste your time. What's that from?
I don't remember specifically what or where this is.
Do you see yourself in that photograph?
I do.
You see Caitlin in that photograph?
I do.
You're all posing for the camera, correct?
Yes.
Oh,
What's the
somebody did some
location?
deep
I don't
social media
know.
research on her.
No idea.
I don't.
This is yet another socializing event with Caitlin that you can't recall.
I don't know where this is
Is that
exactly.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on your words. Go ahead.
I don't know where this is exactly.
So you've had so many socializing events with Caitlin and other folks that you can't pinpoint this one as opposed to any of the others that you've had.
No, I'm saying I can't. These photos are old. I don't know. I don't remember where these were or the circumstances around them. That's what I'm saying.
I
See how
have
you're dressed in that
pictures
photo?
of my whole life and I can't, there's not
Yes.
one I
See how
can't
the-
tell you
see
where
the
I
other
was
friends that
by
are
looking at
there
it.
with you?
Yeah.
How many people would you estimate are in that photo?
Do you want me to count how many people?
Give me it. I don't have the photo in front of me, so just give me it. Is it more than 5?
12
12 people?
ish.
Okay. Do you recognize those dozen people?
I do.
Did you go on a day trip with those dozen people?
Yeah, possibly.
When?
No,
I don't know.
You
Where?
did.
Sorry. I don't know. I don't remember.
How many times have you gone
So
on
evasive.
day trips with those dozen people?
I don't know.
How about turning back to photograph I? How many times have you gone on
They
day
can get
trips?
the metadata from
Socialized with
the
those number of people.
search on
So it's
social
like probably
media.
double that, 20 or 25 people.
I don't know.
That's a big group of friends of yours that includes Caitlin Albert, right?
A big group of mutual friends.
So it's not just that she's a mutual friend, she's a friend. Isn't that right?
As I said before,
She's not going
I
to.
would consider myself more of an acquaintance. We have mutual friends. I wouldn't consider her a close friend, but yeah, I mean that would be my answer.
You basically grew up with her, went to high school with her.
I didn't grow up with her. I went to high school with her.
When I say grow up with her, I mean you grew up in the same town as her, right?
Grew up in the same town.
Went to the same high school as she did.
Yes.
Socialized with the same friends as she did.
Yes.
Went on day trips with her.
Yes.
And have all the same friend group. Right?
I don't know that we have all the same friend group. These are people that we're both friends with.
But you don't consider her anything more than just an acquaintance.
I think I described it to you.
Oh, snippy.
The answer to my question is you don't consider her to be anything more than an acquaintance.
I wouldn't consider her to be a close friend.
Now let's take a look at the last photograph.
Uh-oh. He's nailing this.
Describe what's in that photograph.
It's a picture of me. Caitlin is in it, and there's seems to be other people in it as well.
May I approach?
Yes.
Yo. Snap, snap, snap.
Both of you can take it. Sorry, I just want to drop it on you. That's a close-up photograph of who?
Her and Caitlin, I better like this.
Caitlin and I'm also in it.
And you're doing what in the photograph?
Hugging?
As relates to Caitlin.
It seems like I'm kind of kneeling down next to her.
Touching her?
Can I see that for just a minute, please?
Whoa, Judge, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, can you show me you? Okay, thank you.
So just for the record.
Good judge.
May I approach one more time, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Take a look at that one more time.
Yo.
You're sort of just behind Caitlin in that photograph?
Yes.
Caitlin's one drinking the beer?
Yes.
You got your right arm around her?
They're connected. in the
Yes.
photo.
You both appear to be wearing swimwear,
Yes.
bathing suits,
Yes.
and you're giving some sort
Multiple,
of
that's
sign with
3.
your left hand.
No, I'm not.
Is that somebody else's hand that I saw? Maybe.
That's 3 photos, 3 separate beach scenes, 3 separate times. Yeah, we don't know each other that well.
That's Caitlin's.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have the photograph in front of me. I don't have it committed to memory. Looks like that's a photograph that you and Caitlin posed for together, correct?
It seems like it's a close up of a bigger, like a picture. It seems to be zoomed in on a group of people.
Which was posted on social media.
Okay.
Is that right?
Are you telling me that?
I'm asking you that. You ever seen that posted on social media?
Likely.
I don't recall seeing this picture, but if it was on social media, then okay.
How
Did
long
you
ago was
comment
that
on
picture
it?
taken?
I don't know.
Who took the picture?
I don't know.
Where were you when the photograph was taken?
Probably at a beach with, if we're wearing bathing suits.
Probably at a beach or at a beach?
Well, I can't see a beach in the picture. We're in bathing suits. It could be at a beach.
Right. Do you recognize the bathing suit that you're wearing in the photograph?
No,
She's not going to
Literally
nail her
don't even
down.
Recognize your own outfit?
no,
So that doesn't help define where you were and when that
Y'all.
photograph was taken?
no, sir.
How many of us can look at a picture and
Do
say,
any of these
that
photographs
bathing suit,
remind
that was
you
my
that
sophomore
you've
year.
been to Caitlin's house at some point in your friendship with her?
No,
Has Caitlin ever been to your house?
not to my recollection.
When was the last time you talked to Caitlin?
Yes.
I don't remember exactly. It's probably been a few years.
When was the last time you went to an event, socializing event with Caitlin?
Again, I don't remember exactly.
Did
I
you
wonder
talk
what
to
Caitlin
at
has
any
to
point
say.
at or around, on or around January 29th, 2022?
No,
When was the last time you had talked to Caitlin before January 29th, 2022?
I don't know.
Would it have been a day before, a week before, a month before?
No, I don't talk to her. Like I said, we're not like close friends, so it's like pretty infrequent that we would interact. So I don't know when the last time before that.
What about texting or Snapchatting or communicating in that way?
I don't remember.
Would it have been a week before the 29th?
I don't think so.
You don't think so, or you know so?
I don't think so.
What about after the 29th, after you responded to 34 Fairview? You ever have any communication with her?
Not that I can recall.
So is that something that you think you might remember if you responded to a house of her father where there's a police officer dead or dying on the yard, on the lawn, 30 feet from the front door? You might have had a conversation with Caitlin?
I've never had a conversation with Caitlin about that call or this case.
Did you ever contact any of your other friends about the fact that you responded to Caitlin's parents' house?
No,
Were you ever asked about this relationship that you had with Caitlin Albert, this friendship that you had with Caitlin Albert at or near the time of the 29th of January?
no,
Did you ever disclose to anybody that you had a relationship with Caitlin Albert at or around the time of this event?
no.
When you went to 34 Fairview, you knew that that was the Albert family home, correct?
No.
When did you learn that it was the Albert? You now know that.
I know that now.
When did you find that out?
I don't know. I don't recall. It was some point after. But I don't know when.
I noticed how
Could have been the
vague
next
she is
day.
on everything about this.
No.
He's got a
You and
perfect memory of
firefighter
everything else.
Flamati and firefighter Nuttall were all discussing.
Okay, I find it interesting that she is so, I can't remember, I don't know all this, but yet she's very specifically and detailed, remember everything the prosecution asked her.
This case pretty intently
Rehearsed.
after this event, correct?
No.
It's not that often in the little town of Canton that a police officer is found dead or dying on another police officer's lawn. Wouldn't you agree with that?
We responded to a medical call. So the conversation after the fact was at the hospital, debriefing the call, going over what happened, what we use for equipment, what we need, and just like that was the extent of the conversation.
Would you agree that this case, given its notoriety, is discussed at the fire station almost daily?
I don't know when I'm not there, but it does get brought up.
And obviously the fact that
I'm going to call BS on that because one of the other fighter that witnessed before her said all of them, and including her in the firehouse, had discussed this case almost daily.
the house belongs to, or belonged at the time,
She knew.
to the Albert family as part of that discussion.
Maybe not
Um,
hearing, but directly.
I don't know. Like I said, it gets brought up, but I just avoid it. I don't engage in the conversations.
It was certainly enough of a subject matter that you learned, according to you, after the 29th, that house belonged to Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, parents of your friend Caitlin Albert, right?
Well, at that point, it was on the news consistently, so I don't know where that like information was introduced, but
But it was pretty early on after the 29th.
Yes.
I don't recall when it was known that that was the case.
I mean, you didn't learn that that was the Albert family home last week.
No,
You've known it for going on 2.5 years.
I don't know exactly when I learned that that was the house.
I realize you don't know exactly, Mrs. McLaughlin. I'm not asking you the day you learned. I'm asking you, you've known this basically through the lifespan of this case.
Correct.
At some point after I learned it.
Right. I'm just trying to figure
Trying
out
to get a
about how
straight
long.
answer from you, woman.
A week after, a month after.
I'm not sure.
But it was
Can't
more
believe
toward
the judge is not
January
having it
29th
along.
than it was yesterday, correct?
Correct.
Move along. That judge is going to nail you.
Yes.
Mhm. Look at that look. Scathing look. Oh my God. Look at that look. I tried to screenshot it. Nope. Help me here. I can't screenshot it.
One other.
Dang it. I'll scroll back.
Um,
What a look.
Do you know any of Caitlin's siblings?
No,
You don't know Brian Albert Jr.?
no,
Do you know any of her extended family that might be a little closer in age to you, like Colin Albert?
no,
Have you ever met any of them?
not that I recall.
Not that you recall, or no?
I don't remember meeting any of them.
Your Honor, that's all I have right now.
All right,
Look
Mr.
at the
Lally, any
look on her
questions?
face.
Just a few, Your Honor.
If look can kill.
So, Ms. McLaughlin, you're not friends with Caitlin Albert, correct?
I'm sorry.
You're not friends with Caitlin Albert, is that correct?
I would say she's an acquaintance, not a close friend.
Now, you were shown some photographs of you in a fairly large group with Caitlin Albert, correct?
Yes.
You don't know when those were, correct?
I don't know exactly.
You don't know where you were when those were taken, correct?
No, not exactly. They seem old.
And just to back up, you knew her in high school, but you weren't friends in high school, correct?
I would categorize our relationship as always being just acquaintances. I knew her. We had some mutual friends, but we were never close friends. We don't have a one-on-one relationship.
And as far as high school versus post-high school, would you see her more so during high school, the high school years, or after you graduated?
Well, probably more in high school just because you're there every day. But then afterwards, yeah, it was only here and there. Like I said, like mutual friends. So maybe events for mutual friends, I might run into her.
And to be clear, and I think you made reference to it, but that last photograph that's marked as K, that seems to be a cropped or sort of zoomed in of a larger photo. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Now, as far as each of those photos you were shown, you're present in a photo with Caitlin Albert in a much larger group, correct?
Yes.
Have you ever hung out or socialized with Caitlin Albert outside of the setting of a large group?
No.
You've never been to her house before that date of January 29th that you know of, correct?
Correct.
She's never been to your house that you know of, correct?
Correct.
Now, as far as that first one that's, as far as social media is concerned, as far as a friends list. And without sort of doing it, I'm sort of putting that in air quotes. How many friends would you say you have on social media in total?
I don't know. Maybe over 500. I don't know.
And of those 500 people, how many of those 500 people would you consider actual friends?
Much less than that. Less than 10.
All right, why don't we wrap this up, Mr. Lally?
Sure. Just when it comes to that day that you responded, you're working with the fire department, you responded to a call on January 29th to a home, or as you say, to somewhere on the side of the road. Did you have any
Did I
idea
miss
whose house
anything,
that
y'all?
was, that was adjacent to where the treatment was concerned with regard to your patient, Ms. Rose?
No.
I know.
Okay. All right. So there was an objection that this was in violation of Rule 14 to admit these exhibits, Mr. Lally. That's what you said, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I agree. So
What?
the exhibits don't come in, but based on this voir dire and the answers, I'm going to give you some leeway on exactly what you did. Okay. The relationship, the socialization and the extent of it, friends on social media, those areas. You didn't quite get everything that you mentioned at sidebar you thought you'd get. So
we got to do
that's
this
not
all
coming
over
in.
again.
If you
stay within the parameters.
So why don't you come over here then, just because?
Oh, snap. I missed that, Andrelli. What? Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I had to relieve thyself. I mean, I was floating and I just couldn't wait any longer. I am so sorry, y'all. It happens. Slightly after, but I know of a case where a juror was dismissed because he went to church with the mother, one of the expert witnesses. Yes, that can happen. But unfortunately, in some of these small towns, like my small town, I got 25,000 people in the city limits. Yeah, somebody's going to know somebody. There's nothing you can do about that. But what do you think, guys? Did that get a little spicy? And none of this was in front of the jury. Voir dire. So now they get to redo it again. Oh, snap. Can I go back up here? I can't. I can't go back and pin a... Can't do it. Did you see the look on Karen Reed when they were... Oh, it was like, bitch, please, I know. It's one of my famous sayings. I don't throw out a lot of stuff, but my friend and I use the be please. You knew. You know these people. I know you know these people. I know you friends with her. I see you having coffee. No, I'm kidding. Oh, guys, please share, comment, love, and subscribe. I know the ones that are watching already have, but please, y'all, share on your social media. Oh, Lord have mercy, y'all. Look at, look at the face she's making. I'm making sure I'm on my Facebook page. Making sure it's going live. Someone didn't. I had a couple people complaining I was live on my Facebook page all day, and I'm finally like, that's what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, I am. Let me see the comments someone just posted. No, there were group photos. However, she says that they were acquaintances. But yet in some of the group photos, they were hugging, side by side, gathered in like friends. If I'm an acquaintance and I don't know you that well, but I know other people, I'm not going to be in a photo with you like, hey. Well, people don't know I do the sign language, but I'm not going to be like, oh, hey, and I'm going to get close to somebody I'm very much more acquainted with than I am going to be someone I'm barely acquainted with. If my bestie's going to be in that picture, I'm going to be right there with her, not this distant off acquaintance, but you know how groups can be. But the fact is that she knows her more than she's letting on, because you're not in that many photos. And that was just a few, I'm sure. Oh, I should have marked jury out and jury in, but that's okay. I'm learning. I noted it on my paper. I just didn't put it on the comments. Y'all woken up, I'm sure you have, where your neck is just stiff and you just want it to pop. That's where I'm at this morning. How many of you gone to or heard of the antique archaeology? The antique people on TV? I went to their place in Nashville. All right, jury's coming back in. I'm going to comment jury back.
If you all think they're right outside the door, you're mistaken.
Please be seated.
Jimmy, do you have any envelopes over there?
I do.
I'm putting second cross examination.
Any more? Do you need any more? I'll work on it.
You know what? No, this is good. We're good.
All right.
Hopefully I'm right on this.
Just so
Jesus,
you
I-
can understand.
Thank you.
This judge has been better on the mic today. Usually he's all, it's like, dude, really? You know what I mean? And then she's got this thump, thump, thump. I hope I'm not blowing your ears out, but she's been blowing mine out all freaking morning, all freaking trial.
Ms. McLaughlin, did you say you had a water? Is there a water waiting for you out there that you need? Or
I'm okay.
okay, thank you.
Love this photo. I'm sharing a cool picture of myself. Going back through the memories, like the corners of my mind. Oh, wow. There's something he just got an aha about, because his eyes just got about as big as silver dollars. I'm going to remove this pin. I'm not. I'm going to copy back here. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to I'm sorry for the wait, y'all. What can I do? was taking them so long? Probably they were in the restroom. But this witness here to me is not one that I can fully put a lot of faith in. I believe her medical skills are good. I have no
Request for the
issue with
jury.
that, but um, I do have an issue with the other.
This court is in session. Please be seated.
So jurors, from time to time, there are things that I need to discuss with the lawyers, as you saw. We try and do it as quickly as we can. It's in an effort to make sure that what you see and hear in this case is appropriate for you to see and hear. So sometimes we spend a little time now that will save us a lot of time later. So we do appreciate your patience.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin, thank you for your patience. When we last left off, I was asking you about your relationship with Caitlin Albert. You recall that?
Yes.
I want to ask you a few more questions about that. You and Caitlin Albert have known each other for how long?
Since high school.
Which is, give me a span of time.
So probably about 10 years.
You have traveled with Caitlin Albert and friends. When I say traveled, I don't mean to exotic locations. I mean day trips, etc.
Yes.
You have a group of mutual friends together, correct?
We have mutual friends, correct.
Those mutual friends have gone on day trips with you and Caitlin Albert involved?
Correct.
On more than one occasion, as a matter of fact?
Correct.
On many occasions, matter of fact?
I don't know.
More than
Define
5?
many.
I don't know.
More than 10?
I don't know.
You've seen photographs of you with Caitlin Albert on some of these day trips, correct?
Yes.
You've seen at least 3 of those photographs.
Yes.
This judge
Your
writing
friends
on
with
her
Caitlin
desk is
Albert
driving me
social
nuts.
media?
Yes.
Other than the 3 photographs that you've seen, you just talked about, there have been other events that you've been at with Caitlin Albert that weren't necessarily photographed, or we don't have those photographs, correct?
Probably.
You know that Caitlin Albert is the same Caitlin Albert that's the daughter of Brian and Nicole Albert, as you sit here.
Yes. As I sit here today, yes.
And you know that Caitlin Albert also has siblings, Brian Albert Jr., correct?
As I sit here today, yes, I know that.
And you also know, as you sit here today, that 34 Fairview was, at the time of January 29th, 2022, the Albert home, correct?
I know that as of today.
You indicated, let me rephrase that. When you showed up at 34 Fairview that morning, did you recognize that address or recognize the home as being that of Caitlin Albert's?
No.
You have since learned that was Caitlin Albert's home.
As I know that now.
Right. And you gave your original statement to Trooper Proctor the next day.
Yes.
And from that day to this day, or let's take yesterday, from that day to yesterday, you learned that 34 Fairview was the Canton Albert family home, correct?
You're asking if I know from...
Between those 2 dates.
Yes.
Between the time you spoke with
Yes.
Proctor in this report till yesterday when you testified, you now know that that's the Albert home.
Yes.
And you also indicated that between that report that you gave to Trooper Proctor, statement that you gave to Trooper Proctor and yesterday's testimony, your statement has evolved. You've already admitted that.
I don't think I agreed with you on that.
Yeah, you did.
It's changed. It's different.
I've always testified to I feel as though my testimony has been consistent.
No, ma'am.
I appreciate how you might feel. I'm just interested in
But
the
you
actual
did agree.
facts.
I wrote
You
it
didn't
down.
tell Trooper Proctor anything about this officer questioning my client. correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
So I'm going to see counsel at sidebar because I think this morphed into a different.
Oh, we morphed. Oh, I forgot to turn the music off. Oh, that's okay. We're back in sidebar. Oh, y'all. I wish y'all were more people of y'all watching. This is too good. But I'm so blessed I got my buds with me. Thank you so much, whoever is still with me. Love and blessings. It's going to be short. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Get back to comments. Okay, guys. It's morphed. It's morphing. It's changing into something different. Wow. Update. Wow.
You agree, Ms. McLaughlin, that the statement that you gave to Trooper Proctor is not the same as the statement that you gave to these jurors yesterday? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, just a moment.
Yes.
Got the yes. Now I'm being nostalgic with my mugs. I got a bunch of these different kinds of the same style, different colors from places. I went to Tennessee with my daughter last year, this time for 3 weeks, and we went to the
A couple of
antique
other questions. When
archaeology.
you did
People who are on TV.
make
This
this
place, it was awesome.
statement to Trooper Proctor, your visit to Canton PD was coordinated by another officer to put you and Trooper Proctor together for the interview, correct?
I don't recall that.
Do you recall being contacted by a completely different officer to say, hey, Trooper Proctor wants to talk to you, come on into Canton PD, let's have an interview?
I don't remember exactly how the interview was set up.
So that was my next question. You may have just told me this. Do you have any recollection who set that interview up?
I don't.
So he was
Kevin
told to
Albert
move
sound
on.
Familiar?
No.
Do you know Kevin Albert?
No.
Do you know him to be a police officer at Canton PD?
No.
Do you know him to be the brother of Brian Albert?
Objection.
No.
The objection sustained.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Lally, any redirect?
Yes.
She knew him. That's bull crap. Sorry. She may not know him, but she knew of him.
So,
The
Firefighter
department is
McLaughlin,
too damn small.
You went to high school with Caitlin Allen, correct?
Yes.
And could you describe the nature of your relationship, if any, with Caitlin?
I would describe it as we're not close friends. I would say we're more acquaintances. We have mutual friends. I don't have a one-on-one relationship with her.
And you were asked some questions about social media, correct?
Yes.
And if you could, or if you could guesstimate about how many friends, and I'm sort of throwing air quotes in there, how many friends on social media would you have?
I don't know, probably 500.
And of those probably 500 friends on social media, how many of those are actual friends that you talk to, interact with beyond social media?
Much less than that.
Now, prior to, well, let me ask you this. As far as, would you say that you saw Caitlin Albert more so when you were in high school or more so since you have graduated from high school?
I would say probably more in high school because we were there every day. So
And about what year or so was it that you graduated from high school?
2014.
And as far as any sort of photographs that were referenced to you, have you seen those photographs?
Here
Yes.
today, I saw them.
Do you have any idea where or when those photographs were taken?
I don't remember.
Be careful, you may
Of
open a
those
door.
photographs, it's not just you and Caitlin Albert in a photograph. Is that correct?
Correct.
So a larger group of people, is that correct?
Correct.
I don't think this
When you
went
were
as
asked
well
about
for the
sort of these
defense that they had
vacations,
hoped.
they were sort of trips specifically on a day to a beach, looks like, correct?
Correct.
And to a beach with a larger group of people, is that correct?
Correct.
And with reference to Caitlin Albert specifically, have you ever socialized with her in any setting beyond a setting that contained a large group of people?
No.
Now, with respect to, you went to, when you say high school, you graduated from Canton High School, correct?
Correct.
And you grew up in Canton, is that correct?
Yes.
And did you know Caitlin Albert before you attended Canton High School?
No, that's probably when we first really interacted, was high school.
And essentially, you live within the town I'm sorry, you work within the town that you grew up in, correct?
Correct.
And is that abnormal from a civil service perspective?
No, from a civil service perspective, you're given more points for residency. So it's actually, I would say, preferred, or you're placed higher on the list if you have residency in that town.
So it's actually preferred and more common than uncommon as far as growing up in a town and then working in that same town in a civil service position like a firefighter.
Yes.
Now, during the course of the time that you've been on the Canton Fire Department, have you received calls to residencies or other places or even patients that you either knew or were familiar with?
Yes.
Would that be a reason for you to not go on a call?
No.
And you have an obligation, wouldn't you say, to respond to a call when a call is made and you're on duty in that station house, correct?
Yes.
The objection sustained. Ask the question differently.
As far as when you're on duty as a firefighter at a particular station house, and you get a call, what, if any, choice do you have to respond to any particular call?
You have to. There's no,
I don't have a choice. I just have to respond to the call.
And then prior to that date of January 29th, had you ever been over through socialization or otherwise Caitlin Albert's house?
Not that I ever remember.
Has she ever been over your house?
No.
And again, had you ever socialized with her outside of a large group of people?
No.
When you responded on that morning, just after 6 a.m., the house of 34 Fairview Road, did you know who lived there?
No.
During the time since January 29th of 2022, have you ever spoken to Caitlin Albert about what happened that morning in front of 34 Fairview Road?
No.
Now, you were asked some questions on cross-examination about knowing sort of Caitlin Albert's parents' names or siblings' names or things of that, correct?
Right.
And prior to January 29th, you didn't know any of those names, is that correct?
No.
You learned of them subsequently, is that correct?
Yes.
May we approach this briefly?
Okay.
okay. Nothing major here. Nothing major at all. Okay, they're back? Nope. Y'all, I'm ready for the next witness. Just saying. Yeah, I think the Rule 14 is gonna affect all of that, unfortunately. It is what it is. It sucks. But, oh, I forgot to do the birthdays. We'll have to do that during the break. Um, but I think the Rule 14 is gonna definitely hit in with that. But I think, though, that there's just enough there for the jury to go, "Hmm." You understand what I'm saying? Um, that's my humble opinion. There, of course, is the brother and sister-in-law to Mr. O'Keefe. In other family, they've already testified. So, to lose a sister and a brother, that's a lot. And this poor family has gone through hell. And the fact that they're going to actually have the children of Mr. O'Keefe testify? Well, the adopted children, the niece and nephew that he adopted and took guardianship over. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
So, Ms. McLaughlin, you learned of those other people's names within the Albert family subsequent to your response to this call on January 29th. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you learn of those through sort of various news or media reports in relation to this case, not something that you had any conversations with anybody about, correct?
Correct.
I have nothing further.
All right.
Your Honor, if I may, I have a brief
Okay.
follow-up.
Okay.
You indicated, Ms. McLaughlin, that Mr. Lally just asked you about these 500 friends on social media. A couple of quick questions about that. Of those 500 friends on social media, how many of those have you taken day trips with?
I don't know.
How many of those have you gone to the beach with?
I don't know.
How many of those have you posed for photographs with?
I don't know.
How many of those have you posed for photographs in swimwear with?
I don't know.
How many of those have you been photographed with your arm around while that other friend is drinking a beer?
Sustained. Sustained.
Ms. McLaughlin, all of those things that I just mentioned, you have done with Miss Caitlin Albert.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right, Firefighter McLaughlin, you are all set. All right, jurors, we are getting ready to go for our view. So we're about to visit a place which you'll be hearing about some more. You've heard about, you've
That's
seen
it?
photographs of. And in court terminology, we call this a view. The purpose of the view is to help you better to understand the evidence, which you'll hear during the trial, and to help you appreciate the location and its surroundings. The view that you will take is a part of this case. The observations that you make while on the view may be used and considered in your deliberations in reaching a verdict. The place that we're going to go, you've seen photos of, you've heard it, it's 34 Fairview Road. The lawyers and I will accompany you on the bus. The attorneys may point out to you the arrangement of the scene and items that they want you to pay special note of. But otherwise, they cannot discuss anything in this case in regard to this case, and they can't talk to you. All right, they'll be able to do an opening here, and they'll be able to point these things out. While you're on the view, it's very important that you can't take notes, and you certainly can't use your phones and take photographs. All right, it's really just for you to see. You cannot conduct any independent investigation while we're there or at any time during the trial, as you've been told. You're not to return to the scene or ask anyone else to do it for you until the case is over. So this is your opportunity to take a look when we go. What you are to do on the view may be best summarized in two very familiar words, which is stop and look. Okay. Your responsibility is to see the place, to observe it carefully, and to remember what you see. So during your trip to and from the place that we're going to view, you're not to discuss this case or anything about it among yourselves or with anyone, and you are not to permit anyone to talk with you about the case. You'll be under the supervision of our great court officers at all times, and you'll remain together until you return to court unless the court officers direct you otherwise. And just so that you know, because some of this came up during our jury selection process, spectators, if there are any, and all members of the press have been ordered to stay 100 yards away from you. All right, so you can go and you can look and take your time looking without worrying about any interference from anyone. All right, so with that, Mr. Clerk, could you swear in, please, the court
The
officer?
court officers, raise your right hands, please. Do you solemnly swear you will take this jury upon the premises in question and there suffer them to view the same and any property, place, or thing bearing upon the issues on the trial, as they shall seem necessary? That you will not permit the parties to enter in a debate in front of the jury or a person to speak to them unless it be Adam Lally for the Commonwealth and Alan Jackson for the defendant. They to point out such places or things as they deem expedient for the determination of the issue, and that you will keep the jury together until they shall return into court, except the court shall otherwise order, so help you God. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Lally, do you want to do a short view opening?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So ladies and gentlemen, as her owner just described, we're about to go to a place. When we arrive there, and at any point in time when we're there, this is not a point where we can have any sort of conversation or back and forth. So all I'm going to be asking you to do is just take note of certain locations and certain items as you see them. And again, as with anything in this case, this is as you find them, as you observe them, okay? So first I'm going to ask you to sort of, when we arrive in a general area, as far as taking note of sort of street names when you're coming into and when you're exiting from this particular area. When we arrive at a specific location, I'm going to ask you to take note of certain things about the roadway, okay? Certainly any abutments to the roadway, any residences that you observe, the distances between the roadway, and any landmarks or any items that you observe on that property, specifically a driveway, specifically a front door, any other sort of items of interest within the front lawn area of that home. I'm also going to ask you to take note of the roadway itself and sort of the width of that roadway, whether or not you find any sort of lanes separating within that roadway, and then the individual width of some of those lanes as well. Lastly, there is also going to be a vehicle there as well. And I'm going to ask you to take note of certain things with respect to that vehicle, okay? With respect to the size of the vehicle, with respect to the height of the vehicle, with respect to anything that you observe specifically from the front, the side, the back, all of the exterior of that vehicle, and then also some of the interior of that vehicle. And specifically, I'm going to ask you to take note of sort of the center console in the front driver's compartment of that vehicle, and anything that you observe in that location as well. And that is all I'm asking you to do on this case, and I thank you again for your time and attention.
All right, Mr. Jackson?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's the first time we've been able to speak to you directly, so I want to take the opportunity to introduce myself and thank you for your service and thank you for your time and commitment to this. I'm going to echo a lot of what Mr. Lally just said. There's nothing magical about this other than it gives you perspective. It's an opportunity to introduce you in three-dimensional form to stuff that you've been seeing in two-dimensional form. Photographs, some of the testimony, diagrams that you might see.
So I'm sorry, we're really pointed on what you can say.
What we're going to ask you to do is take special note of the relationships of physical items out at the scene. Much as Mr. Lally just indicated, there are going to be physical things out at the scene. You've heard about a flagpole, a fire hydrant, a house. We're going to ask you to take special note of where those are in relation to other things physically at the scene. That will hopefully, with the court's instruction, give you some assistance in putting together the testimony that you think is relevant and the documents that you think are relevant. Again, to echo what Mr. Lally said, we're going to ask you to look at the roadway, the vehicle, the house, the physical items at the home, and the relationship between and among all of those things to each other. Hopefully, that will give you a very good understanding of what we're dealing with, especially with the exhibits. Thank you.
All right, so folks, we'll be all set. We'll see you at the bus in a little bit.
Make sure your notebooks are closed.
All right, that's it for us.
You are muted. Goodbye.
Wow, what do you think, y'all? I don't think the view's gonna help much either. It's summer, there's no snow. I don't get it. I know I was looking down, listening and contemplating. Um, yeah, no, I don't think this honestly, I don't think this is going to, um I I don't think this is going to what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think this is going to really be that much of a help. I think that, um I just think I just don't think this is going to be anything that is going to give them everything that they need. I don't, and I'm not trying to be snotty about it, but, if you really look at this, I don't see it. I'm sorry. They've seen the images, they've seen pictures, they've seen all of that. I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are. What are y'all's thoughts on this? Because to me, it's almost like sorry. I think for me, if I was a juror, and this is my own humble opinion, if I was a juror, I can appreciate the depth and distance that they're looking at. But can I appreciate the what's the word I'm looking for? Gee, guys, I don't know how to say this. I don't think this is like the Murdaugh trial. Okay, let's look at it that way. The Murdaugh trial had a lot of problems as far as I'm concerned because you had more than one location. You had um not only did you have the I don't know how to say this. Um you had the house, you had the barn, you had the kennel, you had all of those things together. That to me is worth a view because everything's so spread out and the size and distance mattered. Here, I don't think it matters. And with the Kelly trial, I don't think this is like in the Kelly trial, it was winter, but there wasn't any snow. I don't like the judge in the field. She is biased. Sparkle, she did interrupt the Commonwealth. But the defense has been more pushing his limits than the Commonwealth has. Excuse me, I have something in my teeth. That's the other thing. The Commonwealth is pushing limits far more than the prosecution. Just saying. You know what I mean by that? Um, it's one of those things that you just kind of go, hmm, hmm. I am not surprised by any means with the direction in which the prosecution is taking this because of the type of trial it is. What I struggle with, honestly, y'all, is more of the fact that you've got one, two, three, four, I believe. I'd have to go look at my notes. EMT people. And yes, there's going to be some differences with each one. There's going to be, yes, she is. Yes, she is. But I think the defense is winning far more than what some people realize. I do understand she is huffing and puffing. Whether or not the jury can hear it is unknown to me. But I will say that if this continues and there is a pattern, um, it could be an appealable offense. It very well could be an appealable offense. So I'm told, but is it audible enough for the jurors to hear it? Or is it just because we're hearing it because she's mic'd and we have a stronger why am I don't echo. Don't go there. There we go. I'll change it to nothing. We have the mics in our ears, so to speak, where the jury does not. But I don't agree with it. I think the judge is definitely showing her frustrations more than she should. However, I think this is one of the cleanest run trials when it comes to objections and sidebars and professionalism as far as moving this along. I'm shocked she did not tell the defense to move it along a whole lot faster on the point of uh, Katie McLaughlin and the Caitlin part of the questioning. I felt that she gave a lot more leeway with that than she has other questioning. So for me, that was a surprise. Unfortunately, it did not merit what he wanted it to. I felt like he thought he had a ta-da and he had a ta-wop. So, I feel bad for him because he is trying so hard and he is doing a phenomenal job for his client. But that said, I think that the um, defense is actually has since day one scored better than the prosecution at this point. There's just too much inconsistencies with timing, with who said what, who did what, who saw what. There's a lot of differences in that, y'all. Trying to shake down my lip gloss. I'm running low. I have to go get another one. By the way, I do sell these on my website. I've had some of you ask about it. I can pop that up later. So, y'all, this was a very short day. It's only 10 o'clock our time. It's only been 2 hours. So, I don't know if they're going to return to court this afternoon. If they return to court this afternoon, I will go live. So, I will be keeping an eye on that. Because they haven't said anything about tomorrow. She didn't say, see you back here tomorrow. I do believe they have to come back in and dismiss. So we will go live. So I think that may be closer to 2 o'clock. They'll probably 2 o'clock their time, which is 3 o'clock our time because it's 11 o'clock their time right now. 12, 1, 2. Yeah. So that's probably lunch and all of that. So I will be about 2 o'clock my time watching and seeing if they come back and I will go live. So just kind of keep your heads up. And I guess what I'll do is set up a live for 3 o'clock my time. And if y'all will just go into my YouTube and just say click to notify. And then if we do go live, you will get notified, hopefully, if it works right. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. I've got some other business that I really should be taking care of and I haven't. So I'm going to use this opportunity to get a few things done. And I'm going to prepare tonight at 7 o'clock Central Time. We're going to have a total. I know. Thank you so much, Sparkles. I am going to go live 7 o'clock my time. Please, you guys share it with all your friends. We're going to catch up on we're going to recap the Kelly trial. We're going to talk about this trial. There's some other trials that have happened that have had verdicts. Um, I'm going to talk about some of them. We're just going to have, maybe a little vine. Um, y'all bring your own drinks, your own snacks. And this is going to be a true discussion time, and we're just going to enjoy each other. I hope my mods can join me. If you can, mods, go to the chat and let me know. Not here, but in our group chat. I would appreciate it. If you cannot join me, gosh, I understand. Y'all are fabulous. And you know what? I am going to do this. Thank you so much, mods, for everything you do. And guys, I also forgot. Let's do our birthdays. I've got some birthdays I've got to get some shout outs for. I felt bad we didn't do them. So we're going to do birthdays. Mods, if you want to stay on, I appreciate it. I've got a handful here. Let me look. Oh my gosh, we have a lot of birthdays today. So here we go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
All right. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday to Dawn Marie, to Jasmine. I'm going to bring it over here so I can read it. Happy birthday, Kim. Happy birthday, Heather. Lanita. Cadence. Selzette. Cynthia. Jennifer. Denise. Miss Bay. I don't know how to Hadiza. Hadiza. Tammy. Jack Rosenflew. Oh my God, my elder mentor. Happy birthday. I'll send you guys wishes. Cheryl, Angel, and Carla. Happy birthday, everybody. I hope it's an awesome birthday and a blessed one. I did. I'm just sending out happy birthdays to everybody. Y'all, we have a lot of birthdays. And do you know what? Birthdays are so special. Happy birthday, everybody. I hope you have an awesome birthday. Whoa, didn't know what that was. I hope you guys have a fabulous. This is happy in sign language. This is birth day. Middle finger, chin to chest. Happy birthday. The other sign is actual giving birth, so we're not going to use that. Yes, it's free to subscribe. So please do. So mods, I hope and pray that you'll be with me tonight. I will look for you if you can. Whose reaction? Who's Natalie? I'll have to go on and look. So, the lawyer chick. Yes, I will go look. But with that, guys, I will preset a live for 3 p.m. my time, just in case they come back. And that way, if you will give me about 10 minutes, then go back and click on alert you when notify you. That way you'll know when they come back. And then tonight at 7 p.m., party time. All right, so first time I've done this, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, guys, be blessed. Have a great evening. Bye.